Each day I receive a decent number of questions in my email inbox and across different social media channels, and I wanted to take this opportunity to answer some of these questions here on my YouTube channel as well. So the first question that I'm going to answer today comes from email, and the question is, how busy is too busy? Now, this is a great question because a lot of us people who are very passionate about something and very productive or want to be very productive, want to accomplish a whole lot, find ourselves going down the route of systems and life hacks and automation of businesses and things like this. And some of these things are totally useful. They're totally legitimate. It makes a whole lot of sense to figure out processes for repetitive tasks, for instance. This is something that makes a whole lot of sense. There's other things like automating your entire lifestyle that, in my opinion, go a little bit too far. For somebody, that might be their passion. Just the automation itself is the thing that they derive a lot of happiness from. For me, I lose a lot of what I enjoy about the work that I do if I automate too much. And so for every single person, these types of life hacks, these types of systems, you have to push as far as you can, I think, and find a bit of the extreme. You have to find that far wall, and then once you've hit it, once you find that extreme to the point where it's taking happiness away rather than adding happiness or fulfillment to your life, then you pace backwards and you maybe take some of these systems, some of these life hacks, some of these things that keep you busy and allow you to wring more value out of every second of every day. Step back from that and find the healthy medium so that you're still doing work that you enjoy, you're still accomplishing things that you can be proud of, still producing things of value, but you're also not spending all of your time on busy work that you could maybe do in a more automated or systematized or productive way. Now that's from the optimization perspective. I would say busy for the sake of being busy is probably never a good idea. If you're trying to come across as busy, this is something that we do within modern culture and within entrepreneurial culture for certain. We try to act as if we always have to be somewhere and always have to get something done, because if we're in demand, if we've always got a call to take or a text to answer, an email to answer, if we're always moving to something else, if we're always going somewhere, then we seem very important, right? But at the end of the day, this perceived importance is actually something that keeps us from ever really focusing on the important stuff that we want to do. So I would argue in a lot of cases that being busy is detrimental to accomplishing things. And most ideally, what you have is a whole lot of downtime or free time in which to actually think and just randomly ponder the imponderables, the things that would be hard to justify on a to-do list. Allow yourself that time, and then I think you'll find, or I've found at least, that when you need to accomplish something, when you've got something on the to-do list, you're much more capable of tackling it and doing it really well, because you're not just moving from one line item to the next line item. You're able to actually think about it and get into the zone and then hit it really hard and then step away and give yourself a mental break afterwards. This is a much more sustainable rhythm, I think. This is something that allows you, it makes you much more capable of regularly producing things of value, as opposed to just sitting in a chair and producing what? Producing things that you don't care about or following instructions. A lot of this is the equivalent of maybe sitting in a cubicle all day but not accomplishing very much. Yes, you might be at work for 8 hours a day, but maybe you do like 1 hour of actual work. Much more ideal, I would think, is to set up your life and to set up your employment or to set up your business, whatever it happens to be, so that you can sit down and really kick the ass of whatever you're doing for that 1 hour, and then take the other 7 hours and do something else with it. Explore something that's not productive in the sense that you could write it down on a to-do list, but something that is wildly productive in terms of growing as a human being and in terms of ensuring that you can regularly get into the zone when you need to be there. So the next question, do you have any advice for a high school senior about to go to college who is unsure about what the hell they're going to do for the rest of their life? I get this question a lot. I get it from people who are high school seniors, but also people who are just retiring or who are quitting their job or moving or getting out of a relationship. Any transition is a big deal, and it's a big opportunity to produce a mental milestone so that you give yourself the excuse to incorporate everything that you've learned and maybe move towards new goals that you couldn't justify before with your old lifestyle and habits and rhythm. Now, the first thing to do, though, is not to just lurch after whatever dream you might have had at the forefront of your mind when you were sitting there, sitting in class and bored out of your mind, or sitting in the cubicle bored out of your mind. Rather than jumping at this thing that seemed so magical then, probably because it was the opposite of what you were doing, instead take a step back and really think about what would fulfill you. Like, what is the correct next step so that you can get the most out of your time and energy? What is it that you've always wanted to do but never allowed yourself to consider? And now that you have the time to consider it and the opportunity to maybe implement it, what would that look like? Like in real life, what would that look like? How would you pay the bills? How would you maintain your relationships? How would you live? And then once you've thought about these things, figure out if it actually makes sense. And if not, now that you've taken a step back and you're looking at the big picture, consider all these other things, these formerly imponderable things. Ponder them. Give yourself the opportunity to do that. And recognize, too, that when you take a step, it might not be the right one. So allow yourself the freedom to pivot if you need to, and change direction completely if you need to. Because that's life, and you don't really know if you would like something until you've tried it, until you've allowed yourself to walk a bit down that path. But be comfortable with changing the path that you're on. And rather than considering that a failure, consider it like one step towards the correct path. It's another check mark on the list of things that you need to look into. And you're going to look into a lot of different things that may not be the right thing, but they are the different points on the map that allow you to eventually triangulate where you should be. If you have a question you'd like me to answer, feel free to leave it in the comments below, or you can write me an email, or connect with me on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, any of these other places that I happen to be. It would be awesome if you enjoyed this video, if you'd leave a little thumbs up like, or you can subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to find out more about me and my work, as always, you can check out colin.io. Thanks, guys.